Hello guys, welcome once again. In this video, I'm going to show you what is a function, how to use a function, and why we use function in Python. So first of all, what is a function? So let's see what is a definition of function. A function is a group of statements that together performs a specific task. So basically, we write a function to do a particular task again and again without rewriting the same code again and again. And functions make your code readable and maintainable. Maintainable means if you want to change something in your code, by writing functions it's easy to maintain your code. Okay, so always remember, whenever you want to write a specific logic or code again and again or more than once, use a function instead. Okay, so let's see how we can define a function. So in Python you can define a function like this. You need to use a keyword which is def, and then you give a space and give a function name, and then in the brackets you give something called arguments. Okay, so whatever you give in the brackets, these are called arguments, and there is no limits to arguments. You can define any number of argument which you want to pass to a function, and then a semicolon, and then comes the statements are the piece of code which you write inside a function. Now suppose I want to make a function to print hello to some name. So either I can do print, as we have been seeing that I can use print and I can say hello and the name. For example, I want to say hello Mark, right? So, and I can print it. But for example, I have 25 names or 100 names which I want to say hello, and I don't want to rewrite this print again and again. By the way, this print is also a function, and we are passing the string as an argument to this print. But print is a built-in function, which I have shown you in the previous video what are built-in function and how to use built-in function. Now let's make our function, and what function we define are called user defined function. So we will define a function, for example, we will call our function def, and then name of our function will be hello, for example. Okay, and what we are going to do, we are going to pass a variable. So you can name your variable or any name, you can give any name to your variable. For example, name or x or y or whatever you want to give an argument. You can name your argument uh, depending upon your wish. So I will name my argument as name because it's more logical, because I want to print name, right? And then I give this colon. Okay, now after this colon, inside the function we write statement. So what we want to do, we want to print hello and the name whatever we pass in a function, right? So we will say hello and print, and then we pass this argument. Whatever argument you will pass, we will pass this argument to the print function, and then what we want, that we want to print hello and whatever name we will pass. Okay, now I will just run this function, or how we can use this function. So function is defined now. Okay, now how we can use this function, we can just call this function hello, and then we can pass a name which is a string, right? So we want to pass a function which takes a string. Okay, so for example, I say Mark, okay, and I press enter and it says hello Mark. Okay, and once again I can just once again called hello, and this time I pass a different name, for example John, and it says hello John. And in a similar way you can pass any name, it will print other names also. So what this function has done for us, it makes our code really readable, because we are not rewriting this piece of code which is print. For example, suppose you want to perform uh, you know 10 or 20 line of code in one go, and these 20 line of code perform a particular logic, and you don't want to rewrite these 20 line of code again and again. So you can use a function instead to enclose these 20 line of code, and then you can use this function so that you don't have to write these 20 line of code again and again. You can just call a function by its name. If it takes an argument, you can pass the argument, and then it will give you the result, right? Now it's not necessary that you always has to pass any argument. You can define a function without any argument also, right? So always remember, a function can have zero argument or any number of arguments. Minimum is zero or no argument, and maximum is depending upon you. Okay. Now, uh, there is a and one more thing I want to say here is function don't take only strings, they can take numbers. So let's make a little bit useful function to add two numbers. So I will just define a function by def, and I will name my function as add function. Okay, and this will take two arguments, for example x and y. So I will just separate my arguments by a comma, and then I will give this colon here, and then I want to print the result. Okay, so what I can say is I can return, and return means giving the answer. Okay, simply giving the answer. And what I want to return, I want to return the addition of x plus y. Okay, and now I will press enter two times. That means my function is defined. Now I can use this function to add two values. So I will call this function add, and I want to add, for example, 100 and 500. Okay, and what this will do, it will add 100 and 500, and it will return the answer. So if when it returns the answer, you can save your answer in some other variables. For example, I can define a variable called sum, and I can save this sum in this variable. Okay, so for example, I define a variable called sum1 is equal to add 100 comma 500, and I can press enter. Now my sum is in my sum1 variable, so I can print my sum1 like this, sum1, and it gives 600. So what this function has done for us, add function, it has taken x and y. So x is assigned, or 100 is assigned to x, and 500 is assigned to y, and then it adds the value of x and y, which is 100 plus 500, and it gives the result, return the result. And when a function return any result, you can save it into another variable. Okay, so it has saved this result into the sum variable, and it returns. And same thing you can do again and again. So for example, you want to add some other numbers, for example 234 and 333. You can do it like this, and you can call sum2 and will give you the result. Okay, so in this way you can use functions in Python. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.